Will
Hi.
Smiles from Black from TV. Hello, Naomi. How's it going?
It's going really well, thank you.
Biggest role of your life thus far. Coming into this, obviously, when you're playing a real life person and somebody that we all well know, how much of a deep dive did you do in playing this role outside of what the script called for?
Yeah, the deepest dive I've ever done for a character, simply because it's the first time I've played somebody who is real, and then on top of that, somebody who I've admired for my whole entire life. So it was deep, and luckily I had the time. It was still during lockdown that I was in prep mode, so I had a lot of time on my hands to take my time and find what interested me and what parts of her I wanted to explore and share with the audience.
Now, did you know going in that you wouldn't have to sing any song to its entirety? So, or you were ready for that?
I knew. I knew I didn't have to sing those songs. I really wouldn't have done the job if they needed me to sing, because I'm not a singer. And also I don't agree with this song being told without Whitney present, with her voice, because there is nobody who who could sing like Whitney. But Whitney, I mean, it's no way.
Now, there's been a lot of variations of, who Whitney is, who Whitney was, through documentaries, through appearances in films, through her own films. What do you want people to get out of this film?
I want people to get that she was multifaceted. She was many things, and actually that her life, although ending tragically and early, was very full. That she lived many different lives, and that the connections that she made to not only her family and her friends and whoever crossed her path, but the connection she made with the global community is a thing that is lasting and everlasting. I think it's incredible that her music has united so many people over the years, and continues to do so. That is a huge legacy. And I'm eternally grateful for what Whitney has done for me, not only with this job, but even when I was small, watching her, growing up, listening to her music and watching her in films and stuff. It did wonders for my self-esteem. So gratitude to Whitney.
And as an actress, taking on this daunting challenge or daunting task of playing an iconic person and working with Kasi, who's had experience doing biopics, what did you learn as an actress coming off, that helps your skill set moving forward?
Yeah, my skill set, I think the big thing for me was letting go. When I feel lacking in confidence, I tend to be quite controlling, which for me turns into perfectionism. And I was learning and had to learn, sometimes the hard way on this job, that, this is an art form, and that I have to let go of some of that control to be able to express myself through this medium. And that's something I'm really taking forward, is letting go and surrendering, and knowing that the work that you do shows over time, and you don't have to force it. So that's been a really interesting lesson, and I'm still learning it. I'm not fully I'm not fully there yet.
Well, with this one, job well done. Congratulations on this role. I'm sure I'll see you with something else down the road. But keep it up. We're here to support, and wherever you're at, have a safe day.
You too. Thank you.
Well, Smiles, Black from TV. Hello, Nafessa. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. One of the biggest roles so far in your career. Obviously, when you're playing a real life person, how much of a deep dive do you do outside of what the script says?
Well, you go outside of the script and you try to find as much information as possible in a normal scenario, which would be me playing, a fictional character. You create it yourself, but you want to obviously not take that much liberty when you have a real life person you're playing who is still alive. So extensive research for sure. Robin's book was a huge help for me. Diving back into the late 80s, early 90s, understanding the fashion, understanding the swag of their city, where they're from, was a huge part. And giving over my similarities that we share over to the character is also very wise as an artist. from my opinion. So a little bit of that and a lot of her book served me.
Having you said that you share a little bit yourself, when you play a role, I like to think that there's a little bit about that character, whether they're real or not, that you can relate with. How do you relate to playing Robin?
One thing that I know I share in common with Robin is when we love something or somebody, we're so loyal to it, sometimes to a fault. And I was able to identify that in her relationship with Whitney. We also share the same sign. So I understood just her drive, her ambition, what she wanted out of life. And also, she wanted to have a good time. Robin was fun. She was super swaggy and super cool. And I just wanted all of that to come off and translate.
Now, were you given a chance? I don't know. I haven't read whether or not she's on board with this or not. Were you able to get a chance to even talk to her? Sometimes, like I said, when somebody's still alive, you want to do it right, even though the script calls for something else. Have you had an opportunity, to talk to her if that was the case?
I haven't been able to talk to Robin just yet, and I hope that I am able to. But more importantly, I just hope that she's happy with how I represented her and how I portrayed her. And I just, really want her to know that I took it serious. I led from a place of sensitivity and empathy because this is such an important relationship and a love in her life. So hopefully I'll get to meet her soon.
Now, for you, obviously, I've seen your work on TV and I've seen your work in other film projects. What did this role do for you that enhances your skill set as an actress? Was it playing this role, taking direction from Kasi? What did you get out of it when you finished production that you can take on to your next project?
One thing that I had a lot of peace in that Kasi helped in this area, our director, was to trust myself. And to trust that I had everything in me that I needed for this character. And I think that's something to carry with you if you're chosen for a role. A lot of times as actors, we take on or we put pressure on ourselves to do something the right way or, question if we have what it takes. And I think, gain some confidence in this film. I think as an actor, if you ask actors, they'll probably say that each role gives you a little bit more confidence. Each time you're on set, and you're working on your craft every day, day in and day out, it gives you a little bit more boost of a confidence to explore the next one and go on to another level. And obviously with this being my first film on a platform such as this, has equipped me for more of this to come in the future. And obviously Kasi too, like such great direction from Kasi. And I pray, for more directors like Kasi who just makes artists feel safe and feel vulnerable enough to come out and be free.
I want to say congrats on the role. Obviously, you're always continuing to work it. But I'm always there to support. So keep doing your thing. We're here to support. And we'll talk down the road.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV talking to Ashton regarding Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. How's it going?
Hey, man. How's it going? I'm doing great.
Good. You're playing the role of the iconic Bobby Brown. How did it come about for you?
Yes, sir. I got reached out by the director at the time. And, like anything else that I do, just like very particular with the narratives and stories that I want to tell. And it seemed like something that I wanted to be a part of, obviously with the involvement of Kasi and Naomi, and just it had all of the makings of something that I wanted to explore and navigate. So here I am, man.
Now we've seen obviously different variations of Bobby Brown from obviously the New Edition movie, the Bobby Brown solo movie, his appearance in other films. How did you want to make your Bobby Brown different? There's the script, and then there's what what you want to add to it.
Yeah, of course. I think, it's my duty as an actor to portray him in the most authentic way that I possibly can, so I wanted to be as close to him in the spirit of who I found him to be, you know what I'm saying? there's a narrative that the media has ran with Bobby, with this whole relationship of Whitney and Bobby, and I think that this film does a good job at just like stripping that away and just like taking like a real look at who they were as different entities, sure, but I think this film really focuses on them as a unit and them as a couple and what their love dynamic was. So I just wanted to stay as true to that as I possibly could, and I think we did a really good job doing that.
And this is the second time you're playing a real life person. You have a day job. You're playing RZA, obviously. So when you're playing these
I play
people,
RZA by and I play Bobby Brown by night. I'm joking.
yes. So when you're playing these individuals who are still living among us, how much of a deep dive, like obviously, do you go out and talk to them, or do you just want to just do the best you can based on what your director wants you to do?
I think it changes from project to project. I think playing somebody that's living is an interesting feat. I think coming off of doing Wu-Tang and working so closely with RZA allowed me to put the energy of what that initial nervousness would be with playing somebody who's alive to the side and focus on the art of it, because that's what's most important, right? So, yeah.
And how's working opposite Naomi? She has the daunting task of playing Whitney. So what was that chemistry like?
She is awesome. I'm really excited for her. I think she absolutely killed this role. She's one of those actresses that, it's just like rare that you are able to work with somebody like her and of her talent. I'm just really like gassing her, but I think that she's awesome, and it was great. I had a great time working with her and Kasi. This was like a women-driven unit on kind of like all parts, from Naomi being the lead and Kasi, being the director, and then obviously this film also focuses on the dynamic between Robin and Whitney as well. And so, yeah, man, it was interesting viewing it from that lens as well.
Now, when you were playing Bobby, when you got the role to play Bobby, at what point did you try to grow the Gumby?
I did not try to grow the Gumby, but thankfully, hair and makeup, they do their thing. So the Gumby was Gumby, and then,
keep it as it is. And at the end of the day, when you work with a talented team that's on this particular project, and you have a day job in which you're working with another team, how has that helped you as an actor moving forward, whether it be the next episode you're shooting or the next project you're doing?
That's a really good question. I've always felt like the consistency of working is always kind of sharpening your sword. It's always keeping you on your toes. You're always ready for the next thing. It's kind of like you're always moving that muscle, so I'm working these muscles out, and I'm learning something new with every project that I'm able to apply to my art. So yeah, it's awesome.
Well, Ashton, I've been watching your films from get-go, so keep doing your thing. We're here to support. Congratulations on this role. Obviously, we're looking forward to the next season of Wu-Tang. We'll talk down the road. Have yourself a great day.
Thanks, man.
Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Hey, Kasi, how's it going?
Hi, Wilson.
Good. Obviously, you're no stranger to doing biopics and coming off of doing Harriet. What did you learn from that project coming into this one?
Well, I think one of the things that I learned is how to work that intently with an actor. I mean, it's my joy. It's what I love to do, is work in a very intense relationship with actors. And when you have an actor that's really carrying a movie, even though you have a beautiful ensemble working with them and around them, that's a very deep kind of focus that you have to have and a very deep level of trust. And because I had had that experience, with Cynthia on Harriet, I was able to kind of bring my knowledge of that relationship, what was being asked of this person who'd taken on this huge challenge, in this case, Naomi Ackie, what was being asked of her as an artist, and being there for her and assuring her that I was going to be there for her.
Unlike Harriet, where there weren't that many versions of her, we've seen a lot of versions of Whitney, whether it's an appearance in a film or a story or documentary. When you have a film like this, what was it that you wanted to get it across, and how did you want to fit in as many songs as possible without so much taking away from the story? We already know the music, so we want to get to know a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the music was very important. Look, we wanted to celebrate her music and her artistry, how she chose music, everything about the music and the performance, how she connected to the audience. But really, it was an opportunity to tell all these love stories. It's not the way you normally think of maybe a biopic, and it's not the way you would think of the Whitney Houston story necessarily, but there were all these love stories to me. There's a love story between she and her father, between she and her mother, between she and Bobby Christina, between she and Bobby, between she and Robin, between she and Clive, between Whitney and the audience. Very significantly, the love story between Whitney and the audience that I really leaned into and wanted to kind of culminate with, because I think it was profound, and I think she needed it.
How much of a challenge was it leaving out? When people walk out of there, for those who know her background, seen enough of these versions, they're going to say, oh, they left this part out. They didn't go deep into this. How much of a challenge was that? Or is there a director's cut coming out down the road where we get a longer version?
There is a longer version. And there, at one point, it was very long. We had a lot in it. But because we're going into so many relationships and covering such a big period of time, of course, there are going to be things that are left out. There's scenes that are left out. That hurts me a little bit more, scenes that we love that couldn't make it in. So there will be deleted scenes, and maybe in the future there'll be a director's cut.
And then just the talent, Naomi, obviously people look into her, and they're gonna, for those who haven't seen her work, they're gonna get to know her now. What did you get from her as she took on this iconic role?
I mean, I think she's absolutely brilliant, and she blew me away every day. Naomi has a depth of character and yet a kind of effervescence that really spoke to Whitney to me. I mean, she has such a spark. She can be very silly and kind of outrageous, and yet she's a really, really deep person, and she's very human, extremely strong, and yet vulnerable. Work ethic, absolutely incredible. The amount of time that she devoted to this, and how meticulous her preparation was, and yet how available she is as an actor. On set, that she just could kind of let all the prep go. You're never seeing it. You're never thinking. I mean, I'm thinking about it because, my job is technical too. So, but on a real level, you're not seeing prep. You're seeing an actress that's in the moment, that's completely emotionally available, and that can make a connection with all of these other actors. That's really, I mean, chemistry is really what you look for. It's that pixie dust that you hope to get between actors, and Naomi had it with everybody, and that's kind of like the make of a star.
Biopics are never easy to do, but you got it done. Congratulations. Obviously, we'll talk down the road because you'll always have another project. So keep it going. We're here to support. Have yourself a great day.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.